Pairing, boom. So my heart condition, okay, tachycardia, um, arrhythmia of the heart, whatever, just irregular heartbeat. All right. And it's a wild feeling. Like I was talking to Lorraine or Kristen. She has the same thing. Now, I've been knowing I have this heart condition since I was in the 6th grade. So I was 11 years old. I can usually manage function. I played football in high school partially. I was in other sports, but I knew I couldn't consume certain things. I couldn't get overly stressed. I would have to have a good night's rest and things of that nature. But it would feel like you're having an asthma attack to a sense. That's what it feels like. But I remember when I was junior, senior in high school. And, when you're going through that times, down the colleges come out and try to recruit you. Also the military. So from the Navy, the Marines, the Air Force, yada, yada, yada. I remember the Army, because I think it may have been either it was the Navy or the Marines I was going to go into, one of the two. And I remember them coming to me and I started saying, yo, I see these few checkoffs. Like, just let you, because they have to check your health. You have to go through this whole screening. And the reason why I was going to go into the military, because I didn't have parents to pay for me to go to school or college. So I made sure I wanted to set myself up for the future. What a lot of people may go to the military for. But I remember saying, yo, I'm flat footed. I have asthma and I have a heart condition. And legit, the recruiter said, you don't say nothing, we won't say nothing. Wait a minute. Like, what that's supposed to mean? It's like I feel it, but it's like one of them things where if something would to happen to me, are they going to use that against me as well? Or like act surprised, or they're going to put me in a certain position where I can be cared for, or I'm put in a position that I'll be disposable. But I know a lot of folks that when it comes down to money, you'll put sharing certain elements or issues you have to the side to get certain positions.
I wanted to say, like, I feel like the NFL, this is going to be an escalated thing in the future about pre-existing conditions. They don't talk about that enough in any sport, especially when it comes to a trauma sport like NFL, where you have head injuries, body injuries, like more importantly, like pre-existing things like torn ACLs, injuries you might have gotten in college and stuff like that. But cardiac situations such as the heart, I can almost guarantee there's more than, just, Damar Hamlin, who's had heart issues, regular heartbeats, frequent heart attacks and things like that have happened that aren't reported. And the reason why I say that is there's been too many sports announcers, including like Skip and Shannon and all of them, who had mentioned that they have never seen something like they saw on Monday night. And it's like, is it just because you didn't see it? Or is it one of those things where like you can recognize it as an athlete, but everybody else that watches the film doesn't see it themselves? So like you would know if you're having a heart condition or you're having like chest pains. Me with asthma, I know when I'm having an asthma attack, but you wouldn't know, watching on camera. You might be like, okay, he's out of breath. And then they usher him off the field, but you never see what happens that second half of, hey, do they have their asthma pumps, anything like that? There's 9 athletes who have type 1 diabetes that are in, the, conclusion of all sports, NFL, NBA and stuff like that. We don't see them, have times during commercial breaks, taking their insulin and stuff like that. These are all pre-existing conditions that I don't know if the leagues actually pay for them. And if there's something detrimental that happens to them, if they pay out. I know in 2020, they had something called a player buyout for pre-existing conditions where you had to go and get paid for your conditions because they don't give you health care, which is a conversation in itself when it comes to athletes. So
what's up, Pod Fam? Hey, Britt, look at all my people coming through, filling these boxes up. Shane with the mic. Hey, what's going on with y'all? So we were just discussing the Damar Hamlin injury from the NFL and how pre-existing conditions may play a part and how to continue to take care of ourselves, especially in the future. Because being an athlete, and I think this would have happened in no matter what sport. If something would happen, he could have got elbowed a check playing basketball. That could have been the same result. But when I tell you, when you see these players, like these young athletes, I don't know if y'all ever seen it before, like on the news, maybe the local news, that player just running up down the basketball court and just fall out dead. Player playing football or anything just fall out dead. This is usually the condition that's why I was talking about my physicians, my doctors, cardiologists. They usually have this and didn't know about it or didn't kind of disregarded it, you know? So I just find a way we have to, even if you know, sometimes they feel, hey, you'll be okay as long as you don't just do X, Y, and Z. We see what you got, Shan. I know you got something.
Hi everybody. This is why I really have an issue with celebrity entertainment sports, is because it's not me going to work using my brain. I'm using my body that I actually want to be able to use when I retire. My kids need my body. I need my body. My wife needs my body, X, Y, and Z, right? And we see this even with kids playing soccer, kids playing basketball, kids doing whatever, running. These games, these sports are set up where you're supposed to get a physical. But, and depending on how sometimes great the player or the talent, a lot of symptoms, because sometimes we don't see these major issues as major issues at first. We see small symptoms that what Drake just said, you're okay as long as you don't do this. You're okay as long as you take breaks or you relax or you get your rest or you eat properly. Sometimes that's a lot to put on a child. Sometimes that's a lot to put on a teenager that needs to be a teenager. Sometimes that's a lot to put on a young athlete that ain't never had money, ain't never had a first job, but their talent got them into this game where their family is depending on them to hold up financially what we need by you just being talented. Ignoring the fact that the symptom that I've always had, oh, that's just regular, that's just something I just deal with. No, that leads to something else. And a child could have an enlarged heart and die before 16. Teenager, a young man, an older man, like you just don't know. And just because you're able to function a little bit doesn't mean you should ignore this a lot. And what I don't like about football, I don't know about basketball, what I don't like about football after watching several documentaries is when they get those, what do you call them? Like fees and penalties on the field. Mm-hmm. Instead of those teams delegate, oh, are we going to make sure these players have the best health care even after they retire? They take those penalties that the new players have to pay, and they pay for the ones that retire to be able to go get help for their body, go get help for their brain. Y'all should be funding these people until the casket drop. It shouldn't be new players pay for old players' health care. And that's what's so messed up, is how many billions of dollars these coaches, these owners get out of people's bodies and then turn around and not even want to take care of their players.
But it's just like Social Security,
which is messed up.
It is.
Which is I'm not getting Social Security. I'm 35. I'm not getting Social Security when I probably need it.
See, right? Now, if we go to that subject, that's
for whoever now gets to use it. It's crazy how society wants to work citizens and give them this illusion of comfort by the time we need it, and we're not going to have it.
No, ma'am.
Trust me, don't get me started. I look at taxes the same way. You know, if I wish I had this is where I want my taxes to go to. I don't mind, like, I got to see it. You know, we Liquor Talk had a conversation and someone talking about, you know, you pay your taxes. You gonna have to pay your damn taxes. You can't run away from that. You know, it's death and taxes. That is real. That will come out your ass. But where your taxes going is these. If I'm paying officers that I may come and try to kill me and my people in the future, that's a problem. You feel me? But when I tell you, going all the way back around, the NFL is a nonprofit. That is a nonprofit. That is not a for-profit organization. So when we talk about all these things, oh, look at the baby. When we talk about all these things going into it, they're making a profit. And they're also circulating these money. They make their money from donors and businesses, commercialization of their product and people. But it's a reflection of the world, as TJ Lee was touching on, that they're just doing what society or the American culture has trained them to do, is to use bodies. Once again, people don't really care about people. People care about the use of people.
And
So
that's
I'm listening to
And that's what I was going to tell you about the military, Drake. That recruiter's job was just to get a body in there.
Yeah.
Once you would have taken a physical, if you passed that physical, they'd have let you through.
Yep.
But once you got to basic training, they were going to get it out you. You were going to find out whether or not they were going to put you out or put you on medical restriction.
So I got folks that mentally they shouldn't have been in the military, but they need a buddy. You see it all the time. Like, I got this folk. How you gonna let them hold a weapon? Them? I've been knowing them since I was a little boy. This boy throw it out. How did you? But it ain't nothing new. We can't say this is new. This has been like this. It's supposed to make, people say it make people better at times, but also, it causes a lot of mental issues or increases those as well. But going all the way back to the sports with NFL, like, once again, what happened to DeMar, that ain't, to my opinion, ain't nothing compared to the hits and injuries I've seen in the NFL. I've seen some gruesome stuff. Okay. Like, oh my gosh. But the thing is, that's part of the game. The NFL has always been a gladiator sport. No matter how many pads you put on, no matter how even myself, I remember when they corrected the tackling when you couldn't, I forgot what it was, you couldn't do something. And I like, gosh. And there's a lot of people would agree that what's the point of watching the game? A lot of people, especially in America, watch the NFL for the hits. They watch sports for the violence. They don't watch certain, like, even with the NBA or the WNBA, even though I ain't even gonna get into that, but even like they want to see that aggression, whatever the case may be. Once again, gladiator sport.
If you want to go back when, Black people were here as slaves, they will pick their biggest slaves to come in the house and get their other masters to come over the house, drink, eat, and watch them beat each other until one is bloody or barely coherent, or they'll get a slave man and get a slave woman and put in the ring and watch how he tackles her to rape her for entertainment. Like, sometimes we have to choose us out of the money and out of me ruining my body or killing my body in order to make somebody else billions. And sometimes we think we know when we're gonna step out of it. Sometimes we think we know when we're gonna know when, but our bodies tell us before anything else. And sometimes we ignore it.
Yeah, but it goes all the way back because we are growing and becoming more civil, or becoming more, what's the word am I looking for? More conscious of ourselves, okay? Because you said just from slavery. This is before Americanized slavery. When I keep saying gladiators, I'm talking about even Rome, which they did use slaves and things at that time. You didn't have to be Black for this to happen. And the thing is, same thing with going into sacrificing your body. If you look at the Spartans, if you look at so many different cultures, a lot of people do that in their 9-to-5 job too, because they are sacrificed that to get money and wealthy and sacrifice for their family and well-being. We've all seen that meme. My hands look like this, or our hands look like this. That is the same equivalent. Like, simple as that. I'm going, like, you can say it's a sport, you can have fun with it, but it's still work at the end of the day. There's some people in the oil field right now rigging. That's some dangerous stuff. And they don't talk about how many folks get killed out there. No matter
what. Talk about it, but they try to mute it. Just like The farmers, you know how many farmers dying of cancer from the pesticides they spraying on the steel, but they can't quit because they in debt to these companies selling them the pesticide that need the crops. There are people dying by groups by just growing avocados, but people don't care. We
Hey,
don't buy it.
the cartel out there, you see the cartel done shut
Yes.
down the airport in Mexico. I don't know if y'all been watching the news, and somebody was like, "Cartel doing it like that? Cartel been doing it like that." That's this is a whole different thing. The police in Mexico don't run that, but
They there to look good. That's the police in Mexico is about like the police in the Bahamas. They put on the ones in Bahamas, they literally put their uniforms, their shirts is bright white. They only there to make the tourists feel safe and make it seem like they're doing something. But the drug dealers and other like gangs and cartels and stuff, they run the Bahamas, especially where my people is from, which is Freeport. You can ride through Freeport and you'll see an officer. He act like he care because he's in uniform, but outside of uniform, they don't care. My aunt was like, over there, the best way to win your case is if you are the first person to come and report it. They don't care about if you was right or wrong. So you could be in the wrong, but if you reported it first, then it's automatically looking bad on the other person in that particular situation.
so they
And
like
I'm just
security
like,
at Walmart.
just about, even though security at Walmart, depending on which one you get. Because I worked at a Walmart where the security, like towards the end of the shift, they actually did their damn job.
So
But it's also some that was there that was just like they were walking around to make it look like they cared about merchandise getting stolen.
that's usually their job too. If you look at the job, just because when I worked, even before I got into the loss prevention for the short period of time, but when you work somewhere, your job is not to chase people out the door. Your job is not to put your hands on folks and things of that nature. Your job is just to make sure to be there, to look like he's someone that can enforce something. But you don't really
I'm
do
so
much of
glad you
that.
said that. I'm
Hold
so
on.
glad
When
I
I,
worked
when
at
I worked
Walmart.
at Gap and Old Navy, they used to take them clothes out in racks full and just take their time putting in the truck. And we used to just watch. Like, you can't
No,
do nothing. They don't pay me enough.
me working at Walmart, it was literally this one night.
Hold on,
I'm doing my job.
I gotta read this real quick. My ex-husband lost the tip of his finger offshore. Someone pulled on the chain and his glove and his finger went up on with the hook. Lord Jesus. Mm.
Yeah, working at Walmart. How you said that they would ask or they'll make it seem like you supposed to stop whoever is stealing from the store. I work night shift. Ain't nobody supposed to be in that particular Walmart. This dude literally came in. He had on the vest, but nothing else. He had on the vest and he came to me. It was just like, do I have keys to the electronics?
When you say he
I
had
didn't
on a
work
vest
electronics.
and nothing else, like he
He
was
no, he had on a vest, but he wasn't wearing uniform. He wasn't in
he had
uniform. He
on a
just had on
Walmart
the
vest.
vest. Yeah.
Okay.
Came up to me. It was just like, do I have the keys to where they had like the laptops and the iPhones and stuff? And I was just like, no. And I told him like who we gonna ask to get the keys because I'm thinking like he just started. Dude was just like, okay. I'm thinking he went to go talk to the person I told him to talk to. I went back to what I was doing, walked away, came back. He took the L cart that I was using. And then later on found out through another one of my other coworkers, because he literally yelled as loud as he could from the grocery side of the store to the side I was on, which is like the GM side. Like he's stealing. I'm just like, okay, well, I was told by in training and by my mama who worked in customer service during the day. That's not my job. I'm not
So
supposed to say if I see it, I tell them to stop. If they don't stop, I do not need to try to put myself in harm's way.
yeah,
Right.
Come back
that's
the
it.
next day. Yeah, come back the next day. The same manager who wrote me up for doing something she told me to do, gonna have a whole meeting, and it was just like, forgot everything she said. Then she was just like, and then I also heard that he talked to this one associate looking dead at me and asked her for the keys. And she didn't say nothing. No, Jaya didn't say nothing because Jaya had it wasn't a part of that. Jaya had nothing to do with that. And it was not in Jaya's job description to tell him, like, you need to get out. First off, you should have checked the security officer that let him in this damn store. Don't come to Jaya. Jaya had nothing to do with this. And if you
Absolutely.
got a problem, you better hope I don't get my grandma up here to punch you in your face because you're old enough to be my grandma.
You
So
go get
I'm not
paid.
gonna touch you.
See, and
I'm
that's
not gonna
what.
touch
But with
you.
everything culture, don't do nothing stupid to get lawsuits and y'all put place in.
Yeah. No, I like that energy. No, I ain't saying
don't
nothing.
set yourself up to be. Don't put no batter
Mm-mm.
in your back to be a dummy. Don't do
No, sugar. What's your name? Drake, what's her name? I like that energy. I've been quiet all damn day. No, I'm gonna go get my granny and she gonna fire on your ass.
She was
All right, I'm
because
going
my
back.
thing is, I still think that way. If you a certain decade ahead of me, I'm only gonna deal with you if you close enough to my age. If you my mama or my daddy age, y'all can deal with them. If you get to the point where you the same age as any one of my grandmothers, or when my grandfather was alive, my grandfather, you gonna have to deal with them.
Let me tell
I
you.
don't want that on
That's
my
what I'm
conscience.
saying. No,
If
go get
any of my
Nadine.
if
Go
any
get
of my
Nadine.
coworkers go and
Leave it cracking.
get their uncle or grandpa to come and try to speak anybody that age, I'm embarrassing everybody, and I'm pressing charges. Going straight, I'm gonna turn into Charleston White. Okay, play when you want to. Then we can see each other afterwards. But like not at work. But going all the way back, what we're touching on, like when you go into a job, when you put your life at risk, okay, they go list out the dangers of it most of the time. Now, if it's not, it's gonna be a payment, but you expect your
Walmart don't.
generation.
Walmart don't.
And I believe
Walmart do not tell you everything that could possibly go wrong.
there
Like
ain't
literally
people.
working there, they literally with somebody
So
that came
I worked. Okay, I
and
worked at
throw
repo.
on fire.
I worked at repo. I worked in repo. That's dangerous than Walmart. I tell you that right now. I worked at CPS. That's dangerous than Walmart. I tell you that right now. Okay, off cup. They tell you in my trainings that like, yo, if a child put their hands on you or a parent, just take it. And I told them, y'all can let me go right now. I'm not going to just take it. All right. But the thing is, I know how to communicate with people. I know how to make sure to follow my safety precautions. Like, for instance, it's been some houses that I'm like, I'm not going into that house. What's the problem? Like, and the thing is, and I state the way, but I'm also not one of these people that I would be bringing the police with me too. Because a lot of people, like when I was doing my work, they're like, I want to bring law enforcement with me. Like you just talking to the mother or father, unless there's been some type of sign of physical abuse or history of it, there's no need for it. You know, meet them at a disclosed location. If you need to see the home, bring another caseworker with you. But if it's somewhere these folks are like thrown out, I've had a couple. Like if it was a woman caseworker, I would tell them, nah, you ain't going out there by yourself. Simple as that. Especially when I talked about it with the investigations and things. That's a whole different type of feeling and situation.
And I agree, because when my wife was going out there, I don't give a damn if it was one person to 4 kids, take the goddamn police, because I heard the stories out here. It get cracking. Okay.
Right.
And I'm not taking no chances. So if they asses is getting paid to protect y'all while y'all on a visit, go ahead and use that service. Go ahead.
Exactly. You know, and it's services, but you know, once again, like even with me, I've been thankfully some of my coworkers had me around, and once again, if something gonna pop off, I'm gonna run faster than y'all. But you know, not always. You know, I'm gonna stand 10 toes down. I'm gonna communicate, but you know, they look at, you know, I'm gonna bring a guy with me, and I'm like, many times that it will work, but at the same time, vice versa. I'll go out to a woman's house. I'll be like, I'm gonna bring a woman with me. You know, I don't want no crazy stuff happen. I don't want them saying I touched on them or I try to advance myself, and I don't want them trying to.
I was talking to Gigi on the phone, and I saw it might be a little bit off, but the way society is these days, I don't even want to help people with their groceries anymore.
Ooh. Ooh.
No. And I've been in a situation where I put myself being nice, helping people with furniture, helping people with groceries, and then I look back at it and said, "Dog, this could have went the wrong way if
Absolutely.
you didn't pay attention to these people characters and stuff like that." And y'all are in the field, and my wife is in the field where y'all have to pay attention to people's characters.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because I don't care about none of that. I need my wife to come home now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna go over there.
And the thing is, I remember, I don't think it was y'all, but it was somebody I was talking to a minute ago. They used to keep a red book, and it was y'all. It was one of my other folks. They used to keep a red book, and they used to write all the addresses, the places they going to. So if something ever happened to them, their husband know what book. If they ever end up missing, they know all the address they've been to recently. Once again, this is a little bit before where people can, drop your location and things. This is a little dated, so I'm just putting y'all on game about it. But once again, all these things that goes to work, I don't get paid nowhere near enough as an NFL player or any type of sport or a rigger. Once again, a rigger is someone that works on an oil rig and things of that nature. So I'm just saying, a lot of these spots you work for but I know I needed that check. I needed that money. Okay, that's what I was doing.
We don't do anything different than an NFL player but they just play in a much more physical and violent atmosphere, and it's something they've been doing since they were in single digits. What happened to Hamlin was probably the number one freak accident of all time, because it just so happened to be a lot of coincidences at the same time of the impact of his hit. So that's one thing, and that's why it shook up the world. But a lot of this other stuff, how you say we get up and go to work and work for somebody else and put our lives on the line, I mean, we do that every day. We just don't really think about it. We get up and drive 30 minutes, hour to these jobs, and we got to get there on time. We're going to get penalized. So, yeah.
I'll say this. One thing I've been worried about on what Baylor is talking about right now is the fact that I could think I'm a great driver. I could think that I'm paying attention. I could think that I always make sure my kids have their seatbelt on and I always wear my seatbelt. And it could be that one driver that did what she did in California, speeding, going straight through the light and just run into me, and it don't matter.
And that same light that I pass 2-3 times a day while I'm at work. And when we cross now, for the people that stay in that area, I don't stay in that area anymore. I haven't stayed in years, but I do work around that area. So I got to pass through that intersection. I guarantee you, everybody that stays in that neighborhood, every time they cross that intersection from time to time, they think about that accident.
Right.
Because there's nothing they could have did. Everybody was going about their life as regular as it could be. And here she come down. Change the whole landscape of that city.
And people be drunk at 9 a.m. while you going to work. People be drunk at 2 o'clock in the afternoon while you picking your kids up. Like, you just don't know. Like, every time we stop at a stop sign or we stop at the light or we wait to turn, we're trusting a random stranger that you're going to follow the rules.
And we got to talk about
every day
road rage and things of that nature.
Oh, yes.
Like, well, I don't get into that, and I tell my wife not to get into that either, because you never know. Even if it is their fault, you never know what they're going through. Not giving them the excuse. I'm just letting you know that whatever they're going through, all it takes is for one person to look at them or say something that they didn't like, and they ready to risk it all.
Family law attorney in Houston. Once again, my folks that's listened to this, that's been in the child welfare realm, y'all know who we talking about. Y'all can Google it. But road rage, nothing major. Just arguing. She probably was in the wrong. The dude drove off. He had these are all Latin or Mexican identifying people here too. This man had his wife and his 2 kids in the back of the seat. He kept driving. He got into a parking garage where he's at. She followed him and pulled a gun out on him. And she's an attorney.
Well, you know what's so crazy? I personally have come into, I want to say, 3 road rage incidents, just being a mom with my kids in the car. And the first one was where I'm going through a neighborhood because I know how to get through on the side streets, so I don't have to go the long way in traffic.
Yeah.
And I guess this guy was in the neighborhood too in front of me. He didn't know where he was going. And he turning and I'm turning behind him because I know where I'm going. He don't know where he going. He get close to the end of the neighborhood to get out, and he stops the car in just houses everywhere in the middle of the street. And he jumps out, door swings open, and you just hear him yelling, "You know me? Why you following me? You know me?" I got the girls in the car, so I turn on the music. I don't say nothing to him. And he walking towards my truck. So that's when I had to pull out my gun and put it on the dashboard. I rolled down the window a little bit. I said, "Don't walk over here because I'm not about to ask you no questions." I said, "I'm going through the light. You don't know where you're going. I know where I'm going." By the time we got to the light, he took a right turn and went back around in a circle of where he came from. So you could be minding your business and someone in front of you could be insecure, paranoid, running through their mind with their karma. Has nothing to do with you, and people just pop off like that. The other one I had is a chick on her phone sitting at a green light in the one lane of traffic. All I did was waited, gave her grace. She's still sitting there with people in the car. I honk my horn to alert her, "Hey, it's a green light. You sitting. I'm behind you. Groceries in the car, kids in the car." By the time she noticed the light turned red, she yelling out the window, her friend yelling out the window. She got a cup of juice and she threw it at me at the car. So now the light changed, and in Atlanta, you could go from one lane to two lane to one lane to two lane. You just got to pay attention. So we driving up, she brake checking me the whole time for the next 10 minutes until my car got this close to her, the back of her car, and she jumped out. And she was like, "I'm calling the cops. I'm telling them you hit my car. I'm telling you." I said, "Sis, you just gonna get yourself a ticket. We gonna get a court date because I'm blocking traffic, you blocking traffic, all because you're ignorant." And that's what I deal with here in Atlanta on a weekly basis. So when I be like, I'm home, I go to the grocery store, I go to Target, I come back. That's what I be talking about because people are ignorant.
Okay. See that everything that was just said these past 5 to 10 minutes, y'all. Shout out. Hey, YouTube, how y'all doing? Once again, this is Everything Culture. This is our happy hour. That was stressful, but I gotta say, y'all making good arguments for people who work from home. Okay. Because all that to avoid that and go all the way back to Serenity said in the chat, call the police. Who? Me? So they can look. I had an incident where we had something wild happen at my job. I'm the one that called the police, and I had to tell when I was giving the description of the guy who he looked like. Okay, he's about so and so tall, kind of muscular. He has a beard. Wait a minute. Hey, when y'all show up here, it's not me. Okay. Show up here, it's not me. And the thing is, get that. I'm glad they sent 2 officers. The first one came. I'm the one got the key. I had to unlock the door at the office. Let them in. First one, are you the person we're looking at? White bitch. Then the black woman. They said over the call, it's gonna be a person looking like, are you? I have a Martin Luther King hoodie on, like anything, like it was just over there. I'm like that, and that's why I don't have a trust. I would call I know it's a resource, but if that's the last resource I can use, I will use it. But it will be my last thing because once again, when we talk about anxiety, me being not only a black person, being a black male, being a black man with muscles, okay? Just because I could be the friendly person y'all know, just because I look the way I look and I come from where I come from, I'm a threat. And when you know that, and when you know, once again, when you know that, that's stressful. That's stressful as that. And you, once again, and going into work, you have to deal with all these different type of stuff, and you see other folks stealing and all that. I'm over here just trying to collect this check, make somebody else's day better, and take care of my people at home and everywhere else. You feel me? But it ain't always that easy. But that's life, right? That's the life that we make it. What
Can I
we
borrow a dollar?
hey, I'll send it.
Don't send it. I'm just
Okay. Let me know. Let me know. But quickly, shout out to, Jaya, Renee, TJ Lee, Serenity. This is her first time here. Hey, Serenity. My man Bayla, Shan, Brittany, and Greg. We just coming together. Thank y'all for being here. We just chopping up some. We're gonna be on here for another on YouTube for maybe another 15, 20 minutes or so before we go into the private discussions if we choose to do so. But man, other than that, I think what Baylor said, freak accident. And goes back to what Shan was saying. Now, physicals ain't gonna catch up. When I was going through my heart condition, I had physicals. Physicals don't catch up with this. You have to go to a cardiologist. That's what the whole me not drinking caffeine and all that. And for me to have the procedure that I had to get to resolve a lot of these issues was I was at work. I don't know if y'all had heard this conversation before. I was at work. I'm not playing NFL, no contact sport at work. I was going to I was going to lunch with my coworkers. Went to the little spot called the Hobbit in Houston. They always having a little, I was chilling. We're having a good time. They got some good food out there. Look forward to review them later. But they had one of the waitresses came through and she like, hey, we have this new tea. Got peach tea. I like peaches, but I can't have tea because of a heart condition. I can't have caffeine. And she's like, oh, you good. This is white tea leaf. White tea leaf does not have caffeine in it. White tea leaf have a whole lot of caffeine in it. And this is how I found out. All right. We had lunch. I ate the tea was even nasty. Okay. I didn't taste no peaches at all. But I went in to the office, got my paperwork because I had court at 2:30. Okay. So I go into the old family law building in Houston, right off Congress. And the elevator's always trash. The elevator's trash. So I wanted to make sure I made it to docket call on time. So you know what? This is on a 5th, 6th floor. And I'm in shape once again. I'm a healthy dude, quote unquote healthy. So I start going up the stairs. Okay. Brittany, I don't know if you know where I'm talking about, but I don't know if you was at the state when I was at the state, but you know how ragged them elevators were. But I'm going up the stairs. I made it to this, not even to the maybe 2nd, 3rd flight. My heart, once again, when it happens, it felt like my heart skips a beat. It felt like something, once again, it felt like something out of an anime. It just all doom, doom. And it's like, and my heart, and then it'll kick up really fast. And man, immediate cold sweat, like somebody just threw a bucket of water on you. I'm like, okay, I haven't had this happen in a long time. I don't think I got to tell you all the story about my Oreos too. We get to that, but I was in their stairwell, I'm not only thing that it just clicks. I'm not about to die at work. I'm not about to die. That's one of my fears. I don't want people coming to my funeral or even put on he worked so hard. He gave us all. No, the fuck I did. I don't want that to be known as what I gave to it's working for somebody else. That was my claim to fame or claim to my life. I went up them stairs. See, when I almost went to labor in court, Lord, see, that worked. Whew, that would have been, what had us. That's a mouthful.
Drake. So why I had a complete panic attack while I was in court. I fell. I was talking to the judge. The only thing that I remember was I was saying something about the case. And next thing I know, I was being rolled out by the ambulance because I fell and hit my head and my chest on the little bench.
What court was this?
I think it was 311. I was going for one
building.
of my,
in the civil courthouse.
Yeah, but I was, man, I don't know what had happened because I had ate that morning. I was feeling pretty good. Blood pressure was good. I had no issues, no cares, whatever. I went in, had all my stuff with me. And I just felt myself, I was talking and I felt myself getting lightheaded. And next thing I know, I was passed out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Could have woke up with a baby.
No, this was after I had Olivia, but I ended up leaving court early the day before I gave birth to her because I was having contractions in court.
See, and don't stress induce contractions too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and until you in front of a courthouse testifying their job, and that's a different type. Like it stopped stressing me so much unless I didn't do what I'm supposed to do. That's what I learned. When you handle a lot of your business, you won't stress so much about it unless something wild happened. And if you was in the 311th court, you was in front of Judge, what's that white woman name? Can't even think of the name.
I can't even remember.
I know.
But it was a white woman.
Because that's the judge that if y'all hear about the one that the man was overpaying his child support and she sent him to jail, that's the same court. Crazy. But
I overpaid in child support. They start paying me back.
It's all about the judge, player. Somebody asked me the other day about if one of his friends back child support in Texas, and he just came up on a settlement, about to get a lot of money. How can he avoid? I said he can't. Not in Texas, you can't.
Nah, well, yeah, it's different. In Cali,
hey, they
Cali,
gonna find his ass.
You gotta go down there and talk to him. Hell, you might even got to fight with a couple of them.
Hey,
I still get checked. Let me see. I think I got one out here.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, I just
pulling out checks.
No, for real, I do. I got child support check.
Hey, you better. Hey, this still streaming. You want to keep that on low, player. You know, you keep that on
no,
low.
they pay me. It's not my fault. That's their error. I didn't do it.
If anything like Texas, I told y'all when
no. Texas ain't like Texas ain't like California.
Okay, I'm about
no.
Texas like we did what?
The
algorithm go send it straight to them. We accidentally sent you money. Okay, we go accidentally charge you extra and fine you for our mistake. That's what
I talked to my case manager. I said, yo, I just got a couple of checks in the mail. What's going on with that? Should I cash those? And she said, yeah, we made an error that you was overpaying, so we just paying you the money back. I said, oh, bad.
Y'all see the joy in that man's face and his heart right there?
Oh, man, look, I'm about to go.
This man is happy. This man is happy. Like, you could tell with an authentic smile. He tried to keep it cool, but he was like, hey, good feelings. Good when you do the right thing. So
I'm glad they corrected it.
Hey, so I have my Oreo story. So once again,
you can't eat Oreos either?
I used to. Okay, I love Oreos. Okay, I don't like a lot of chocolate, but Oreos, especially double stuff, are my favorite. All right, and I had to test it. All right, so this is me. This is like
said I had
to test it. This is like extremely athletic, Drake. This is my senior year in high school. Okay, and now I know I have a heart condition. I just found out I couldn't have MSG. I could eat a lot of stuff. All right, so I was in the backyard. So this is one of the days we got out of school early because they were having the toss. I think they just implemented the toss test. If y'all remember the toss, I don't know if y'all had that everywhere y'all live. But you used to have the toss test, then you had the tax test, then you had the STAR test. This was during when they implemented the tax test, I think, whatever. But it was basically when you do statewide testing. And really, since I was a senior, I didn't have to take it. So they gave you like that pre-test. And after you're done with the pre-test, you're done with school. So I did a lot of A, B, C, D all throughout the little Scantron, and I was out of school for that day. So I was out early and I went to the crib. So we had like half an acre in our backyard in Tyler. Okay. And my auntie just got some double stuff. No, I went and got these double stuffed Oreos, and I got a big old thing of milk. And I got like, when it felt like I was in a damn Oreo commercial damn near. Had a huge thing of milk, double stuffed Oreos, and I just sat down. I went through like one row, all them Oreos, just smashed them all. And then I'm going to go in the backyard and I'm going to run around to see how my heart situation worked. Now, at the time of 17, it mattered. Okay. It sounded like I was doing a project. It sounded like we're gonna test this out, right? Yeah, shit, okay. It seemed like a lot of sense. You know, we're gonna figure this out on our own. All right. These doctors don't know what they're doing because they know. Cause I never had to go active in front of a doctor, so I got to test it out myself. How much chocolate can I really eat? So I go back, I eat the Oreos, I go in the backyard, and I just start sprinting around. I run at least a mile, just straight sprinting. Nothing happened. I'm good. I'm fine. So once again, if you ever my auntie house in Tyler, I'm coming down. She has it's like high, once again, it's half an acre. So we have this hill, we have a gazebo up top, and we have another like gazebo at the bottom. And I'm coming from the one up top, and I'm walking down right in the middle of the yard. Once again, that heart stopped, and then I'm like, oh shit. And I'm like, this is the hardest I've ever had it too. This is like my eyes bulging. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like completely bent over. Sun out and everything. Just realized it's hard to yell, but I'm screaming for help. Then I start realizing, you stupid motherfucker, none of your neighbors home because you got to school early. Everybody at work, nigga. Like, what you about to do? Like, that's when things got real. So I'm like legit almost crawling down the field. I make it to like the pavement, to the basement, the pavement, the sidewalk in the backyard. And I always tell people, like, I just went to sleep because I was tired. I made it under the gazebo where we had shade because I wouldn't be out in the sun. Basically, I passed out. In the backyard. Thank God I woke up. I was like, whew, glad we're past that. Once again, being young and stupid. Soon as I took maybe 10 steps to go back inside, my heart kicked up again. My garage door had been open, no telling how long I've been asleep. I just remember making inside of the house, calling my aunt on her work phone. I called her while she was at work and telling her, like, my heart kicking up. I may need, and I didn't call 911 or nothing. I said, I may need some help. My heart is acting up again. And I fell asleep on the couch, basically passed out again because my heart's still beating like crazy. She got home. She got to come into the garage. She see the Oreos and the milk still out. Wake me up, cuss me out, take me to the ER or whatever. And that's when I learned that, hey, pacing myself with my heart. My heart looked like I've had a heart attack twice already. And it's been like this since I was in my early 20s. So I got to make sure I take care of heart health. Once again, if I have any type of caffeine, anything, I had to have an ablation when I was 24. When I had the incident at court, ablation, I believe that's what got ABLATION. And that's when they thought I had blockage in my heart. They thought it was the valves, the pumping. So they went into my groin, and they wanted to do it when I was like in my early 20s, but I was a little insecure. All right. You ain't about to mess up none of the wiring down there. Not at this age, you're not. But at that time, I just got married, and my wife was like, you need to get this done because you ain't about to just marry me and die on me the next year. We ain't doing that. Okay. So that's when I went under. But while I was under, that's another thing for the folks that we got all married men here right here. But y'all know y'all wives can sign off to anything in y'all when y'all go into a medical procedure. While you under the knife, they can say do X, Y, and Z too. Just a heads up for y'all. So without your permission. So that's when they went in through my neck for the ablation. And they went in because one doctor came in and said it's not his plumbing, it's his electrical system. Okay. Same thing going on with Damar Hamlin. And they went in through my neck and they basically electrocute parts of my heart. Okay. They basically do little small shocks. And depending on the part where they shock my heart, if my heart started to jitter, started beat fast, they'll go back in and like basically burn that part. So it kind of eliminate whatever they did, that's was the process they told me. And that process has worked for some time. I can eat Oreos, I can eat Cheetos, I can eat Doritos. Like, once again, I can drink Coke, Dr. Peppers, all these different type of things. I used to have to go into people's houses and see what seasoning they have. Like if Shan or Serenity made something to eat and I came through, and they're like, oh yeah, Drake, we cooked y'all up something. Okay, what you put in it? Oh, just some pepper, some seasoning. I say, is it Lawry's? No. Oh, well, I got to look at it. If it had monosodium glutamate in it, I can't eat it. Well, I made it for you. I can't eat it. Because that's how serious I started taking it. So we just got to be careful on our heart health and how we treat ourselves and see exactly what all is wrong with us too. no matter what we do. Even if you have to play in the NFL to have this condition, it's just how you take care of you. So when the last time y'all been to the doctor too? Think about it.
You know what's so crazy?
A couple of months ago.
What kind of doctor?
It was my primary. I went to go check on my blood pressure, and then they ran some tests. And they said my heart was stressed, so I just eliminated some of my clients that I was working with, and started playing video games more.
Out of all the
They said I was
doctors,
stressed out.
I haven't had a primary doctor in years. But I've always got the girl checked, the mouth, the eyes, but as like a primary care, because I feel fine and I just exercise and I just take my supplements. I haven't gone, but the one time that I did was when I was experiencing anxiety and feeling my body go up and down like I'm on an elevator, but I'm sitting still.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the year that I had got a therapist. And after I got to a point where I wasn't worrying about shit I can't do nothing about, I stopped having that. So I haven't looked out for a primary doctor, but I will this year because both of my parents, well, I feel like my dad was pretty healthy until he wasn't, right? And he passed away from a neurological issue where his nervous system was basically shutting down and he couldn't do nothing for himself. A very independent, do all I can man, run my business, make my money in a house where you can't even go upstairs no more. Your bed is downstairs, your bathroom downstairs, everything you need is downstairs. Basically, you should be in a nursing home, but through your stubbornness, you want to stay in your house and have a nurse come here twice a week type stuff. What?
I know we got 5 more minutes to be here on YouTube.
Okay.
Now, that's a conversation. Would y'all want to go to a nursing home, or would you want people to take care of you in your future, your elder times?
I don't want to go to a nursing home because I've seen too much.
I have to.
That's why
It'd be some nasty stories up there. The nurse at her.
Hold on, what'd you say? What'd you say, Shad?
That's how I had 2 kids. I said, let me beat my eyes and see if I can get one of them to take me.
Hey, there's always.
I said, I can't bank on one. It's too dangerous.
Hold on. Matter of fact, hey, YouTube, hey, we'll be back on next Sunday. If y'all want to continue to join the conversation, please feel free to holler at us for the link. We share it on our social medias. We'd love to have you join us. Casual, cool conversations with everything culture. Thank you for all my guests. And before we hop off, if you have a podcast or a business you'd like to support or shout out, hey, shout it out. So Renee, you got anything for us?
No, not today.
Okay. T, you got anything for us? T probably in the other room just listening. I'm just sitting in the okay.
Sorry, what's that?
You got anything to shout out today before we leave YouTube?
Oh, no, I'm good.
Okay. Serenity says she just sitting in the pew today with the Black people. All right. We appreciate you being here, Sister Serenity. Shan, you better shut it out.
ShanbyPotting.com. I'm currently uploading YouTube clips while I'm doing this. But again, the books are on Lulu.com. I got a new episode for Cozy Womb, and she gets it dropping tomorrow morning, and a collab with Baby Daddy Chronicles talking about weaponizing kids drops tomorrow. So happy Monday. I hope y'all have a prosperous week.
Already. Baylor, what you got for us?
BTG for President, Open Run with BTG, part of the Red Sonic Network. I think that's it, man. I got the medium ugly sweaters that's selling like hotcakes right now. and clean your bathroom once a week because you should. I'm cleaning my bathroom right now.
Just should. Brittany. Oh, Brittany working.
I'm cleaning, but y'all follow me on IG and TikTok at Art by Brittany Marie. I have been posting some new stuff, some new work. Also, my personal IG is Complicated Dove with 1D, and my Twitter is Complicated Dove as well.
Love it. Thank you. Greg.
What's going on? So the website, heygreg.io, the visuals on YouTube, obviously, Hey Greggy, TikTok, same name. Podcast, Young Black and Bothered, on all your streaming platforms, DSPs, and sometimes on Everything Culture. So shout out to Drake.
Much love. Appreciate you. Oh, look at this website. Jay, you got anything you want to shout out for us?
No, not really.
Okay. Appreciate
You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Taurus Temptations.
Already. Love it. And as always, YouTube, you can find us here on YouTube at Everything Culture. Anywhere you type in Everything Culture, that's an A, not an I. You can find this beautiful people and these beautiful conversations that we have. We have the makings of Nicole Jackson that's out right now, which is a great episode. Tomorrow, we'll be dropping the makings of Gerald, or who we may know as Glip from TikTok, as well as we'll be having a discussion this Wednesday talking about what does physical abuse and what does neglect look like? What does child abuse look like? Okay, what does it mean and how do we resolve it on this series of the child welfare series? So these are things to look forward to. The next about 4 or 5 weeks, we just hitting y'all with the good stuff. And every Sunday you can find us here once again on Zoom, streaming on Facebook as well as YouTube.